Hello, team. Welcome to Doing, Being, Becoming, where we aim to inform, impact, influence, and inspire. If you are new to this channel, I do hope that you enjoy our content and also welcome to the O team. If you can relate, or if you know someone who can relate, just share, like, subscribe to make sure that this content gets to the people that it needs to get to. I am Asisipo and I am an occupational therapist, and this channel exists to bring everyone to a greater awareness of what occupational therapy is, the different areas that we function in, but especially within mental health, in an effort to improve everyone who's watching's mental health. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that is common to a lot of us, something that we can all relate to, and also something that I have been struggling with and working through over the past couple of years, and that is imposter syndrome. We're going to be talking about what it is, who it affects, what causes it, and also how we can overcome it. With that, I'll be sharing my own personal story. So if you are interested, then please stick around and like, share, subscribe. So, imposter syndrome or the imposter phenomenon is also known as fraud syndrome or the imposter experience, and it is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, and accomplishments, and they have a persistent internalized fear of being found out or of being caught as a fraud. So, imposter syndrome is not actually in the DSM-5, but it has been acknowledged to be a very common phenomenon to happen amongst all people. So it was first discovered in 1978 by two psychologists, and at first it was thought to only affect women, but since then it's been seen that it can affect anybody actually. So imposter syndrome or imposter phenomenon is characterized by self-doubt, attributing your success to external factors, berating your performance, setting high expectations for yourself, and then having fear that you won't meet those expectations, or being an overachiever, sabotaging your own success, and not having the ability to accurately assess your skills, your achievements, and your capabilities. So, common thoughts that accompany these characteristics are thoughts that you shouldn't be where you are, thoughts that you don't deserve what you have, that other people deserve what you have more than you, that you just got to where you are and you have what you have because of luck, that luck will soon run out, the thought that you're just putting up a front, that you're just pretending, that people are going to catch you out, and also the idea that you don't know enough, so therefore you're always trying to achieve more, trying to do more, that where you are, what you have, what you know, it's never actually enough. So research has shown that what can cause imposter syndrome is growing up in an environment where you're always pushed to achieve, where your parents could be the ones who are putting pressure on you, or maybe it's pressure that you have come to internalize. It's also been shown that being in a new environment, whether that is being in a new academic environment, being in a new work environment, can cause imposter syndrome, which is understandable. Research has also shown that minority groups, or those who differ from the majority of the peers or the circles that they find themselves in, can often suffer from imposter syndrome. So whether it be that you are a female in a predominantly male space, whether you are young in a predominantly middle-aged or older space, if you are black in a predominantly white or other race space, if your sexual orientation is different to what other people around you may identify as or orientate themselves with, that can cause imposter syndrome. Anything that may make you feel other than can cause imposter syndrome, especially with ideas such as if you are black, you have to work twice as hard to be recognized as a white person is, or if you're a woman, you have to work twice as hard to be recognized. than a male would. All those things can be contributors towards you possibly experiencing imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is quite common. In fact, it's been said that close to 70% of all people will some time in their lifetime experience an imposter syndrome, but it's also not a guarantee. It's also been found that imposter syndrome sometimes can coexist with anxiety or with depression. So I want to share my experience of imposter syndrome, firstly, so that you can see how all of these characteristics can actually play out, and also so that, maybe through sharing my story, maybe you can relate and possibly identify areas in your life where this may have happened to you, in order that we may apply the necessary tools in order to help ourselves. Okay, so looking back now, I realized that the whole time adversity for me was anxiety provoking, and I had a lot of imposter syndrome. At clinical in fourth year, it was actually the worst. I was always anxious. I would dread going into clinical because I felt like I would be exposed for all the things that I didn't know. I was scared to ask questions, because I felt like by asking the question, I was inconveniencing the person I was asking the question. And also, asking a question made me feel stupid, and, well, you don't know the answer to this question, so clearly you shouldn't be here, which makes no sense because I was in the final year of my studies, and obviously I had gotten there through merit. So obviously I knew something to have gotten me to where I was. Yeah, I would always shrink and, try and stay out of everyone's way because I felt like an inconvenience. I felt, I just didn't want to be found out, basically. So also, like, doing demonstrations was extremely difficult for me. Just like the check-ins with your supervisor, that was hard for me. Taking feedback was also something that I had to actively work on, because I felt like taking feedback was a personal attack on me and not actually a review of the work and how it can actually be better. I always felt like, like my peers and all my clinical partners knew more than I did, and therefore that would like make me shrink and not want to exist in the space, because I felt like everybody else who was in the room, I'd esteem them higher than myself, so I would kind of like shrink myself, make myself as small as possible so that I wouldn't get recognized, and also because I felt like I was an inconvenience to everyone around me. Didn't work though, because one of my supervisors, yeah, she kind of noticed it and helped me to work through it. But as the year went on, I kind of, because I was also conscious of it, was more intentional with working through all of that. I just had like a lot of self-doubt. I had a lot of self-doubt, but also with that I had like the huge need to achieve, which led to overthinking and paralysis, which meant that, all the things that I wanted to do and I knew I could do, and needed to do, I didn't do because I was overthinking. And that anxiety also made me unable to perform because I was just like in my thoughts and my feels and all the time. So even what I could do, I couldn't do because my mind was just blocked. So yeah, it's strange because even after clinical, I still see remnants of that where something would happen that deserves a celebration, and it's difficult, for me to celebrate myself, or it's difficult for me to acknowledge, my skill sets and my strengths. Even when I do achieve things, I would downplay like the magnitude thereof, and think that, you know This is basic. Anybody could have done this. It's not because of anything special that I did. Just like comparing yourself to other people and seeing like, yo, like there's so much more amazing than I am. And it's different from acknowledging how amazing everyone is, but you acknowledge how everyone is, and then you compare them to yourself, and you berate yourself compared to these people, and you put them at a higher standing than you. And because you put them at a higher standing than you feel like you shouldn't be there. You just don't deserve a space in that room. Therefore, you shrink yourself because I shouldn't be here. Yeah, and it's weird for me because going back to the causes, it's not because my family really like put pressure on me. I wouldn't say that's the reason, but I think it's just because I happened I happened to be an achiever, and all those achievements sort of I internalized them and kind of interpreted it to be, well, because I achieve, then that's the standard that I need to maintain, and that's basically who I am. So I am me when I achieve. So therefore, when I don't achieve, I am not me. So I feel the need to constantly achieve so that I can affirm what I believe and know about myself. It goes back to the video that I made last year about Kolb's learning theory, that the experiences that we have and the results thereof basically affirm the thoughts and the beliefs that we have. So then what it all essentially comes down to is the set of beliefs that we hold about ourselves. And that's important when we try to overcome imposter syndrome, that we closely interrogate the thoughts that we have about ourselves. What are the beliefs that fuel you? What are the beliefs that you hold about yourself? Are these beliefs true? Do these beliefs support you? Do they help you? Or do they actually destroy you? The second thing that was also very critical for me is to change how I view criticism. Because obviously, when you are in a new work environment, when you are in an academic space, it's natural and helpful to receive feedback. It's helpful to receive constructive criticism. So for me, it was understanding that this feedback is not a personal attack on myself, but it's actually a review of my work. And it's a review of my work that will actually help me to improve, because if the person didn't care, if they really wanted to tear me down, they would firstly make it a personal attack, and they wouldn't actually propose ways of how to make things better. The third thing that is very important is to stop comparing yourself to other people. It's good to acknowledge other people, it's good to celebrate other people, but not to do that in comparison to yourself. Because the game of comparison, you'll never win that one. There will be areas where you are better than other people, there will be areas where other people are better than you. In the end, it's all about finding how those strengths can work together, how those weaknesses can cover up for each other, and how everyone involved can actually work together as a team. There are many things that you know, there are many things that they know, there are many things you don't know, there are many things that they don't know. But when we all come together and work perfectly, then that can actually yield a greater reward than trying to compete with each other and compare ourselves. Accept your feelings and to interrogate them. Cognitive behavioral theory tells us that the way that we feel is as a result of the thoughts that we have. So when you do feel insecure, when you do feel, embarrassed or shameful, or when you do feel like a fraud and an imposter, interrogate that. Why do you feel that way? Is it because it's justified and you are in a new space, therefore you just need time to customize and acclimatize yourself to that place, because with time you will be adept in all that you need to do? Or is it because of, other things that you need to deal with? Why are you feeling this way? And is there anything that you can do about it? Because when you shut feelings down, that doesn't actually help the cause. It just makes it worse. It makes you more anxious. It makes you more unable to perform and to achieve, and it just makes you feel worse about yourself. And accepting these feelings will also help push you to interrogating the thoughts behind those feelings. That are these thoughts true? I am not good enough to be in this space. Is that true? Did you not get here because of merit? So things like that. It's actually important to interrogate your feelings so you can get to the underlying thought, so you can actually work through and clarify that thought. The fourth and final thing I'm going to recommend is to take note of your accomplishments and your achievements, whether that be, writing it all in your CV and reading your CV as many times as you need to, going through your accolades, going through articles that have been written about you, pictures, anything that has been captured to capture moments of achievement in your life, so that you can actually take those moments in, because like I said, a lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome, struggle to face their achievements, so don't shy away from achievements, but embrace those and understand that, wait, I did this. It's because of something that I did. It's work that I put in. It's not by luck, it's by merit. It's because of a skill. It's because of a talent that I have. And this has been the result and the reward of that. Being able to accept and celebrate yourself is a great exercise to be able to improve one's self-esteem and to affirm your worth in actually being in the spaces that you are in. Also, it's important to hold beliefs about ourselves that are outside of what we have achieved, because like I said, when we attach our beliefs to things, it makes it difficult for us to maintain that, because we won't always be in a season of accomplishment. Our work won't always result in what we actually wanted to result in. But we need to know that, I am a hardworking person, irrespective of what I actually, achieve. But it's just very important to hold beliefs about yourselves that are outside of the material things, outside of things that may actually be detrimental to our well-being. So I do hope that this video helped you in some way, and I hope that this will firstly help you to interrogate the thoughts that you have about yourself, the good thoughts and especially the negative thoughts, so that all negative thoughts that lead you to imposter syndrome can actually, be abolished, and you'll actually be able to stand proud, stand confidently in the spaces that you are in, and to give yourself the time and the grace to grow in the positions that you are in, so that if it's only experience that you don't have, that you may be able to get that. I really hope that you prosper in every single thing that you do, and that you do the work to continue to do, be, and become your best. Until the next video, God bless.